Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Mozambique was having its elections recently. And the vote counting is going ahead right now as we speak. It has emerged that some Zimbabweans did vote in that election. This is a video clip from one of the Zimbabwean papers, the Masvingo Mirror.
Fara nezvotaita nenyaya yekuti Mozambique muvakidzani wedu wakatidetsera panguva yekundesungu saka hatisi taitadza kuvadetsera kuti tivabetsere kuti vawine maelection efrelimo
tabva kunovhoterawo kuMozambique kuti pamwewo tingandopinda zvakanaka kana tichidawo kunohodha kana kudi tinotoifarirawo fererimo iyoyo yatavhotera.
Fara nekuvhotera kwatiri kuvhota kwataita kuvhotera vanhu vekuMozambique tafara zvikuru tongoshuvira kudai maresults abuda zvakanaka.
Tafara nekuvhota kwataita tichivhota kuMozambique. Tafara chaizvo. Mozambique nyikawo yatiri padhuze nayo, saka tinofanira kuvasapotawo namavhoti edu.
This is ridiculous. Mozambique, the people of Mozambique have every right to choose a government of their own choice. Why would a Zimbabwean want to vote and interfere in that process? It beggars belief. But this is the kind of mentality we are dealing with here. We knew this was coming because during voter registration, the Masvingo Mirror did reveal that some Zimbabweans were getting ID cards for the purposes of participating in that country's election. And now they are confirming that they did indeed vote. This is the democracy index of Africa. As you can see, many African countries have failed to hold free, fair, and credible elections. In SADC, the SADC region, we were not doing too badly. As we can see there are countries like South Africa, Botswana, and Namibia, which are not doing too badly. But nonetheless, there are others like Zimbabwe, which are doing terribly. As we can see there, Zimbabwe is one of the countries, if not with the lowest in the SADC region in terms of free, fair, and credible elections, 2.92. Mozambique was not doing too badly, 3.51. But with these, one can see this is just the beginning of this downward slide. Other countries like the Democratic Republic of Congo, it's one of the worst, 1.48. And in terms of economic performance, those countries that have failed to hold free, fair, and credible elections are also economically backward. It's not surprising. In Zimbabwe, we are a failed state because we are stuck with a corrupt, incompetent, and tyrannical regime. We've not been able to change it because we failed to hold free, fair, and credible elections. And SADC countries, while the SADC election observers last year condemned Zimbabwe's elections as flawed and illegal, they did not take the necessary step, the next logical step, and deny Zimbabwe political legitimacy for various reasons. And since August this year, Zimbabwe's President Emerson Mnangagwa has assumed the chairmanship of SADC. And I think this is the nightmare scenario that many countries had feared, where the country that is holding the chairmanship of the regional grouping is now being accused of interfering in the election process of another sovereign country. Zimbabweans had absolutely no right to vote in Mozambique's elections. As much as we have failed to hold free, fair, and credible elections, we should allow other countries to define their own destiny. And Zanu PF's interference in Mozambique's election must be condemned in the strongest of languages. I think SADC nations have got to really seriously think about these problems, because as much as there's been, at least in some of the SADC countries, credible elections, this is not something we should take for granted. We could easily slide and see the whole SADC region's nations turning their democracy index falling, and the whole region being turned the color of DRC or worse. We must condemn what Zimbabwe has done in the strongest of languages. And we must fight that this is not allowed to become the norm. We cannot afford to have this madness spread in the region. Zimbabwe's political and economic chaos is holding back the whole region, and has done so for the last 2 or 3 decades. We cannot afford to let this carry on, continue. That is the truth. Zimbabwe had absolutely no excuse for rigging or for participating in Mozambique's elections and trying to influence the result of those elections. This is totally unacceptable. Zimbabweans should not interfere in other countries' electoral process. They have the right to determine their own destiny. And it is absolutely unforgivable that any Zimbabwean should in any way get themselves involved in such criminal activity, even at the encouragement, inducement of those in power. It is a crying shame that Zimbabweans have found themselves in this economic and political mess. But for Pete's sake, let's not drag other nations into our nightmare. Thank you very much for joining, and have a good day.